So what do you think we could learn? What perhaps some lessons from this way of working?
The thing that struck me, very occasionally, I have come across hub staff who seem to find it a little bit hard to let go. So it might be that they've done so much amazing work with someone for years, they've kept them in their own home, and actually it's getting to the threshold where it's too much now. It needs to go to 24-hour living care or something else. And it's, you know, they've done everything they can, but they're struggling to let go. Or sometimes I've met carers who their emotional attachment to the person is maybe making it difficult to step back sometimes. And I don't feel that this was covered in the Dementia Matters training. So I know, working with older adults, for me, that I can experience things like transference, people remind me of my own family, and that can affect how I feel about them and how I relate to them. And I think when you work in a really human way, like the Dementia Matters way, which is brilliant and it's fantastic, there has to be some acknowledgement of how do I manage my own limitations and boundaries with that person, because essentially I am a paid member of staff, I'm not family, and at any moment I can go sick and I can be gone. So if my interdependence with that person gets very strong, that's very healing for them, but equally I may not be around and that's unpredictable. So
that's a really valid
sort of thinking of that, but I think that's hard. That's not been covered in the Dementia Matters training. Boundaries, limits, transference. So I don't think that's something to do necessarily with the hub team. It's like something that happens at the embryo when somebody's starting on their professional journey. And that's a really complex area, but how I wouldn't want that to take away the human touch of the Dementia Matters approach, because I think that's ultimately more important, and I think the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. And I think there was something else and I can't think of it. Mental capacity. I think Dementia Matters approach has been good for my team, so older adult community mental health. Because I think we can be a little bit paternalistic and a little bit we need to do what's best for this person, and the Dementia Matters approach has helped me address that and helped me kind of coach some of my colleagues who don't get the opportunity to do that training. And I don't know how in that training they can look at the threshold of when does something become a best interest decision around risk and when is it okay to kind of leave it. And so I think that didn't feel like that was explored fully. I think it was touched upon, but it didn't feel like it was explored fully. So I suppose what I'm saying is that training, which I think is excellent, and the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages, has had some unintended consequences for how the hub teams function.
And getting the balance right is something, that's an interesting point for training. If we're looking at more and more practiced social care support workers with more and more insight about how to protect themselves as well, when we're moving into palliative care, things like that, where does the support come from for us to let go when we've built this huge relationship? And been encouraged to do
closure.
And we've been encouraged to build these relationships, and then there's that point
So I think it's hard for your team because they have become very intimate with people, which is right and proper. But unlike family, they're not there for the full journey, perhaps. So that must be tough on the carers.
That's lovely. Thank you, Sam.